Welcome everyone to this crucial training module on configuring model and agent deployments within Microsoft Foundry. Let us begin by looking at how to deploy our foundation models securely while optimizing for cost and throughput. Welcome everyone to this crucial training module on configuring model and agent deployments within Microsoft Foundry. When building generative AI solutions, having access to advanced language models is only the starting point. To make these models actionable, you must systematically deploy them and, in many cases, wrap them in autonomous agents. In Microsoft Foundry, deploying a model means taking a foundation model from the vast catalog of over 1,900 options and provisioning a dedicated, scalable API endpoint on Azure infrastructure. This endpoint becomes the gateway for your applications. However, modern AI solutions often require more than just a stateless text generator. This is where AI agents come in. An AI agent is a software service that uses generative AI to understand context, make decisions, and perform tasks independently. Rather than just responding to prompts, agents can utilize tools, maintain conversational memory, and orchestrate complex workflows. Microsoft Foundry Agent Service provides a fully managed platform to configure these agents securely. You can build declarative, prompt-based agents using visual designers, or develop hosted agents through code. In this session, we will explore the complete lifecycle of configuring these deployments. We will cover how to deploy base models from the catalog, how to configure their specific runtime parameters like capacity and deployment type, and how to attach these models to custom agents. We will also examine how to validate your deployments in the interactive model playground and look at the programmatic SDK integration required to bring your agents to life. Whether you are using the web-based Foundry portal or the Foundry extension for Visual Studio Code, mastering these configuration steps is an absolute requirement for building enterprise-grade AI applications. Let us begin by looking at how to deploy our foundation models securely while optimizing for cost and throughput. This initial code block demonstrates how to authenticate and connect to your overarching Microsoft Foundry project, which acts as the central hub for accessing all your deployed models and agents. This flowchart illustrates the core deployment pathway. From the model catalog, you utilize Microsoft Foundry to either deploy a direct API endpoint or configure a fully autonomous AI agent with custom instructions and tools. The very first technical step in your agentic workflow is deploying a foundation model. Without a deployed model, your agent has no cognitive engine. Microsoft Foundry centralizes this process through its extensive model catalog, which hosts over 1,900 models from Microsoft, OpenAI, Anthropic, and other providers. To configure a deployment, you navigate to the Build menu in the Foundry portal, search the catalog, and select Deploy. This is where architectural planning becomes critical, as you must explicitly define the deployment type. Microsoft Foundry offers several distinct deployment types to match your workload. For widespread production use requiring maximum quota and high throughput, you should select the Global Standard deployment. If you are focused on low-cost, localized prototyping, the developer tier is ideal. For massive, asynchronous processing where real-time latency is not a concern, you can utilize data zone batch deployments. You are not limited to the web portal. You can also configure deployments directly within your development environment using the Microsoft Foundry extension for Visual Studio Code. In VS Code, you simply navigate to the Resources section, expand the Model Deployment subsection, and create a new deployment by specifying a deployment name, the specific model version, and your required capacity settings based on expected token throughput. Once you confirm these settings, Foundry automatically provisions the secure, managed backend infrastructure, transforming the selected model into a live API endpoint. This endpoint is now ready to receive prompts via the Chat Completions API, or more importantly, it is ready to serve as the foundational reasoning engine for your custom AI agents. Properly configuring these deployment parameters ensures that your application scales predictably while adhering to your strict budget constraints. By mastering these deployment configurations, you lay a highly resilient, cost-effective foundation for all subsequent AI development. This conceptual snippet highlights how a deployment is configured programmatically, actively specifying the model name, enforcing a high-throughput global standard deployment tier, and defining capacity limits. This decision tree guides you through model deployment. Based on traffic needs, you route the deployment to global standard, developer, or batch tiers, which then provisions the Azure infrastructure to generate a live endpoint. With your foundation model successfully deployed, you can now construct your AI agent. Creating an agent in the Microsoft Foundry portal is remarkably straightforward, utilizing an intuitive visual interface that abstracts away complex API interactions. You begin by navigating to the Agent section under the Build menu and selecting Create. The configuration process requires you to define several key properties. First, you provide a descriptive name and a clear description of the agent's specific purpose within your enterprise. Next, you link the agent to the cognitive engine you just created by selecting your previously deployed model from the drop-down menu. The most critical configuration step, however, is defining the agent's instructions, often referred to as the system message. These instructions strictly dictate the agent's persona, its behavioral boundaries, and the specific rules it must follow when answering user queries. For example, you might instruct an agent to always respond as a concise, technical support representative, and to completely refuse any questions unrelated to IT troubleshooting. Beyond these textual instructions, you must precisely configure the model's mathematical parameters to tune its generation style. The temperature setting controls the randomness or creativity of the responses. A low temperature yields highly focused, deterministic answers ideal for factual data, while a high temperature encourages creative variation. Similarly, the top P parameter controls response diversity by limiting token selection to a specific probability mass. By expertly balancing comprehensive system instructions with these precise parameter adjustments, you strictly govern how the agent behaves in production, ensuring it aligns perfectly with your corporate guidelines and specific use case requirements. This meticulous configuration is what transforms a generic text generator into a highly specialized, reliable enterprise assistant, capable of handling nuanced business processes autonomously. This configuration code demonstrates deploying a specialized agent. It attaches the previously deployed model, provides strict system instructions dictating its persona, and purposefully lowers the temperature for deterministic factual answers. This visual breaks down the agent configuration workflow. Before you ever integrate your newly configured agent or deployed model into your application code, you must rigorously validate its behavior. Microsoft Foundry provides a powerful, built-in interactive playground specifically designed for this purpose. The model playground acts as a safe, no-code development environment where you can actively submit prompts and observe the model's responses in real time. This is the perfect stage to experiment with different prompt engineering techniques, such as providing few-shot examples or dynamically tweaking your system messages. During this validation phase, you should systematically test a wide variety of inputs. Start with straightforward factual queries to verify basic comprehension, then escalate to complex multi-step reasoning problems. It is absolutely crucial to test edge cases and intentionally submit ambiguous or out-of-scope prompts to guarantee that your agent respects the behavioral guardrails you established during configuration. If the agent provides an incorrect or poorly formatted response, you can immediately adjust the temperature or max token settings right there in the playground interface to fine-tune the output. Once you are completely satisfied with the agent's performance, the playground provides an incredible productivity accelerator, the Code tab. By selecting this tab, Foundry automatically generates the exact SDK boilerplate code required to interact with your tuned model or agent in languages like Python, C# or JavaScript. You can simply copy this generated code block directly into your development environment, drastically reducing your integration time. Thorough playground validation ensures that your deployment is truly production-ready before any software engineering effort begins. Never skip this critical validation phase. It is your primary defense against unexpected model behavior and hallucinated responses in a live, customer-facing application. This code represents the boilerplate payload exported directly from the Foundry playground, saving developers from manually writing the complex message arrays and explicitly capturing the tuned max_tokens limit. This iterative loop shows the validation process. The deployed endpoint is tested in the playground against factual queries and edge cases. If it fails, parameters are adjusted. If successful, integration code is exported. While the visual portal is fantastic for prototyping, enterprise deployments often require programmatic configuration using the Microsoft Agent Framework SDK. Developing agents programmatically provides you with ultimate control over the deployment lifecycle and allows for seamless integration into automated CI/CD pipelines. When using the SDK in Python, you will primarily interact with the Azure AI Projects client library. The architecture relies on three core components. First, you establish an Azure AI agent client using your Foundry project's connection string and secure Microsoft Entra ID credentials. Second, you programmatically define the agent itself, passing in your chosen model, your system instructions, and an array of any external tools the agent is authorized to use. Third, and perhaps most importantly, you create an agent thread. In traditional generative AI development, engineers had to write complex logic to manually append previous messages and manage the conversation history, which often led to token limit errors. The Foundry Agent Service eliminates this massive overhead. By creating an agent thread, the service natively and securely manages the entire conversation state for you via the underlying responses API. You simply add new user messages to the thread and invoke the agent run. Furthermore, the Foundry Agent Service natively supports automatic tool calling. If your agent needs to execute a custom function or perform a web search to answer a prompt, the service automatically halts generation, routes the request to the specified tool, retrieves the external data, and seamlessly incorporates that precise context into the final response. This allows you to build highly autonomous stateful applications with minimal custom code. This powerful SDK abstraction empowers your development teams to focus strictly on defining robust business logic and advanced tool capabilities, rather than managing tedious back-end infrastructure and complex state tracking. By creating a dedicated agent thread, developers completely offload conversational memory management to the Foundry service. The system automatically maintains context history for all subsequent messages attached to this thread ID. This flow illustrates programmatic execution. Code creates an agent thread, appends a message, and invokes a run. The service handles automatic tool calling if required, seamlessly looping until it returns a stateful response. Our final configuration step involves publishing and integrating your fully validated agent so that end users can actively interact with it. A perfectly configured AI agent provides no business value if users cannot access it within their daily workflows. Microsoft Foundry provides highly streamlined capabilities to publish your agents directly to collaboration platforms like Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot. This means users can chat with your custom IT support agent or HR assistant directly within the Teams interface they already use every single day. To execute this publishing workflow from the Foundry portal, you must ensure you have the strict, correct Azure role assignments. Specifically, you must possess the Azure AI Project Manager role on your Foundry project to authorize the publication, and you must have the necessary permissions to register applications within Microsoft Entra ID, as this process automatically provisions an Azure bot service behind the scenes. If your agent requires secure access to internal workplace data, such as reading an employee's emails, parsing Teams meeting transcripts, or searching secure SharePoint documents, you can seamlessly integrate WorkIQ capabilities into your deployment configuration. WorkIQ securely bridges the gap between your custom AI agent and your organization's protected Microsoft 365 data graph. By mastering these critical deployment and configuration steps, you are fully equipped to architect, test, and publish highly advanced AI solutions across your enterprise. Mastering the deployment to Microsoft 365 is what truly drives user adoption and maximizes the return on your artificial intelligence investments. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this deep dive training valuable, please be sure to like and subscribe. For premium certification prep, including massive Q&A banks, comprehensive ebooks, expert audiobooks, and exclusive interview guides, visit quicktechie.com. See you in the next module. Once published and configured, applications or external channels, like an Azure bot service powering Teams, simply invoke a run against the designated agent ID and thread ID to process the secure enterprise workflow. This final deployment map shows how a validated Foundry agent passes through the publishing workflow, automatically provisioning bot services and Entra ID registrations to surface natively within Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot.
Welcome to quicktechie.com. So just type in quicktechie.com here. Then you can go through the material which is provided by Quicktechie. So we have first of all video courses which you can go here and you can find the various video courses across the technologies as well as finance domain. So if you see in Microsoft, we have 8 programs currently running. Next, you can go through the ebooks available. So all the ebooks which are in PDF format today, and you can download this. So let me go through Microsoft certification ebooks. You can click on any of this and you can see this is the PDF available for you to download. So these are the premium ebook mostly available on quicktechie.com platform only. Now the second part is exam simulator. As we primarily focus on the all technology companies and finance domain certification preparation material, so this is company wide listed here and you can go through this. So let me go through the Microsoft one again. You can see this is all Microsoft related certification. AB 730 exam, if you open it, so you can see here this, and all the practice papers are available here. Today we have a 5 practice paper. So click on the first practice paper, it would load the questions. You can answer this question. This is way you can answer it and you can move to the next question. Now third material we wanted to highlight is an audiobook. So we started recently with the audiobooks as well, which you can listen on the go, and various technology wise ebooks are available. And at the last, this is our alumni. These people who are subscribing to our courses and this platform, they are all listed here. And at the end, I wanted to tell you, if you find any course or training or certification preparation material which you want to get us prepare for yourself, please put on the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, on Udemy, or on this platform itself, quicktechie.com, then please put the comment, or you can even send an email to using this contact us options here. You can directly do the WhatsApp message. You can call us on this numbers as well.